Let's move on to main topic number 2. And our second main topic today is sent in to us from Jeremy Walters, who writes, "Hey, John, I was wondering if you saw the recent comments from Edward Norton about his time as Hulk. Apparently, he wanted a darker take on Hulk. How do you think the Hulk films and the MCU as a whole might have been different if he had stayed on?" All right, thanks a lot for sending in that question, Jeremy. And yes, look, one of the big controversies around comic book films 8-9 years ago was the whole Edward Norton with Hulk thing. That was something that went south fast. For those of you who don't really remember, and there's a lot of details online you can find, and I won't rehash them all here. Edward Norton did his Hulk film. I like that Hulk film. I have a cameo in that Hulk film. Background. Anyway. But then things went south. He didn't do any of the promotion for it. Apparently he was supposed to have more creative control. He didn't get it, and all this kind of stuff. It went south. The relationship went south. And then, of course, they ended up recasting him and got Mark Ruffalo to come in. And Mark Ruffalo's been great. But recently, Edward was asked about the stuff with the Hulk, and he said some interesting things. This is what Edward Norton said. He said, "I loved the Hulk comics. I believed they were very mythic. And what Christopher Nolan had done with Batman, I was going down a path that what Christopher Nolan did with Batman was going down a path that I aligned with. Long, dark, and serious. If there was ever a thing that I thought had that in it, it was the Hulk. It's literally the Promethean myth. I laid out a 2-film thing, the origin and then the idea of Hulk as the conscious dreamer, the guy who can handle the trip. And they were like, that's what we want. As it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted. But I had a great time doing it, and I got along great with Kevin Feige." That's from Edward Norton. Now, of course, things didn't end so copacetically between Edward Norton and the studio and Marvel. It went south. It went south. But it's nice to see everybody talking positively at it at this point. And I don't want to go into, again, pardon me, all the circumstances surrounding Edward Norton's departure. What, to me, I want to focus on here is this interesting idea about a 2-film story arc with Hulk that was going to be heavily influenced by Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. Long, dark, all that kind of stuff. Now, listen, I like that Hulk film that Edward Norton did. And I love the Abomination. Abomination is a character I wish they had gone back to. It's still possible. They say he's in prison, so they could go back to him. Remember that. But this notion of going Dark Knight, being like more grounded, serious, all that kind of stuff with a giant green monster. I mean, how do you go more grounded with a giant green monster? Well, they found a way to do it with Wolverine, a guy who has metal claws pop out of his hands. So you could find a way to do it with Hulk. And I think that sounds fascinating. And you know what? I've always regretted, and again, don't get me wrong, I love Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. I love Ruffalo in that role. He's great. That said, as a movie fan, I have always lamented the fact that we lost Edward Norton. He is a terrific actor, and I thought he was a great Bruce. I really did. And this whole notion of going down that type of a path is not only fascinating to me, but it also makes me lament a little bit. Now, you guys know I love Endgame, and I love the Avengers movies and all that kind of stuff. One of the things I didn't like about Infinity War and Endgame was how their treatment of Hulk. He was basically non-existent in Infinity War. He had that one opening fight scene. Then we never saw him again. And then by the time we got to Endgame, he wasn't really Hulk anymore. Now they were doing the Professor Hulk thing. And how you have the Hulk in a movie and not have him in any action scenes is completely beyond me. And I'm not interested in Professor Hulk and whatever. I applaud them for trying something different and ballsy. I'm not saying they shouldn't have tried it. I'm just saying it didn't work for me. That's all I'm saying. But seeing Edward Norton's comments right now kind of make me lament a little bit that the fact that we're not getting that Hulk. You know, I've said this before, I'll say it again. When Joss Whedon gave us the first Avengers film, I remember coming out of the first screening for it, and everybody was shaking. They were so excited. And one of the first things on everybody's lips was, this is the Hulk we've all been waiting for. This is the Hulk we have been waiting for. You know, Loki and everybody else talks about Hulk in that first film like he is the ultimate nuclear bomb. He is the ultimate threat. As a matter of fact, having Hulk on that ship was the key to Loki's plan to cause chaos. You know? That's supposed to be, and then by the time you get to the final two films, he's not even a consideration or a player. And I don't know if that's where Edward Norton saw them going. I don't know if that's what it was when Edward Norton said, I had this plan and they said they wanted it too, but then it turned out they didn't. I don't know. But it does make me lament that a little bit. Guys, you hear Edward Norton's comments on Hulk and what he wanted to do with it and kind of going a Christopher Nolan route. Is that something that intrigued you, or are you perfectly happy with the way that it went? I want to know what you guys think. Jump down to the comments section below and let me know your thoughts. All right.